All right, everybody. Scott Pierce here at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call. And I think we're good to go. Awesome. So, how are we all doing? We got Christmas coming up here in a few days. So, I hope everybody is doing well. Let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're not a client, I put the link to Listings to Leads in the comments there. You can sign up for a free trial. And if you are a client, go ahead and log in. We'd love to have you do this with me. We can kind of get some of this stuff done together. You know how it is, man. Over the Christmas holidays, there are serious buyers around. So this can be a phenomenal time to get some good buyers. And obviously, with our buyer leads, there's always a good number of people that are seller leads as well. So go ahead and get yourself over to listingstoleads.com and go ahead and log in, and let's actually do this together. This is not something where we just talk, but this is something where we actually get stuff done. Justin, who you with? I know we got quite a few people, quite a few clients in the Houghton. In fact, I think my dad had a cabin at Houghton Lake. I'm originally from Flint, Michigan. Got family mostly in the Detroit, Lansing, Kalamazoo area. So, yeah. Coldwell Banker Schmidt, of course. Longtime client covering the Western Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Florida, Caribbean. Yeah, you guys are pretty big. All right. I put a second link into the chat, listingstoleads.com/listings. And at this page here, we're going to talk about how to make sure that we're getting buyers and sellers easily and consistently marketing listings, yours or borrowed. So there's a lot of things you can do with listings to leads, from going after expireds, doing custom ads for like a custom list of homes for sale using your IDX, marketing sold listings, home value, cash offers. I mean, so many things that you can do. And in this call today, we're going to be talking about marketing listings, again, yours or borrowed. And so we're going to literally walk through and actually do all of these things. This is phenomenal for branding. It's great for generating buyer leads. And again, typically about 30% of buyer leads also have a home to sell. So, and I've heard from before online from people that some of the best ways to get seller leads is for going after buyer leads, just for that reason. So we talk about attracting seller leads from this as well. And it's going to make you more confident when you are in a listing presentation, being able to talk about how you actually market listings. If you're not marketing listings, it's hard to be, believable when we're talking about talking to a homeowner about what we're going to do for their home. Now, we've got the amazing listing presentation in Listings to Leads. You can create listing presentations for specific properties where it's the owner's home on the cover, and every image inside of it, it's got their name, prepared for Scott Pierce at 123 Main Street, Folsom, California. So the listing presentation is massive for helping you in listings. But obviously, being able to actually market listings is great as well. And the last thing before we dive in and get at it is, thinking about listings that we're going to market. Okay. One of the great things about marketing listings is that is our inventory as real estate agents. And so we want people to associate us with listings because it helps us generate buyers, but it also looks great for the sellers when they see us marketing listings, in addition to other things that we can do through the Listings to Leads platform. Sometimes we might have a listing that's been sitting a while, and at a certain point, marketing that same listing week after week after week is not the best idea. All right. So in a atmosphere, in an environment where listings may be sitting for a couple of months, you're going to want to make sure you take some breaks in the marketing of that listing so that you can maybe take a couple of weeks off of active marketing and then run another ad after maybe a 2-week break, right? Do some more social media posts after a couple of week break. Let people kind of forget about it coming off of your pages. All right. And so in that time, we want to make sure that the listings that we are going to market are good listings. And by that, what I mean is they're in the meat of the market. They're in an area with good sales. So when we think about the listing that we're going to market, it's not always our listing, right? And especially with the paid ads, right? It's not always our listing that may be the best to market. So I just want to keep that in mind here. There's a little information on that page. I just put in how to pick your listing or deal of the week, how to borrow a listing, and then the plan, and let's get at it. So before we do, one last thing I want to show you are every listing in your account. So when you add a listing, yours or borrowed, there is a single property website. The virtual tour are automatically created. We're looking at one right here, and we can have full screen video on the single property website. Notice the URL, 15ambientway.thebestlisting.com. So every listing gets a phenomenal URL similar to this. It could be world's best listing, America's best listing, is home now, beautiful home for sale. So there's about 5 to 7 different domains, and they are customizable. And I just want to show you. So we got full screen video. We've got, this one has an open house, so it's counting down. We got the property description. You can have a 3D tour, so people can actually go through, whether it's Matterport or something else. They can walk around the house right inside the single property website, right? Kind of bop around and see what's going on there. Kind of a cool yard. Looks like it must be in Florida. All right. Your professional photos. So if you got professional photos, even if your listings are coming in from the MLS automatically, you can still add, swap out the photos from the MLS with your professional photos. It really makes these pop. All right. When you change, the MLS photos are compressed, and so they're good. They're totally fine. But when you upload professional photos that you may have, it just makes them pop so nicely. You can, if you're doing YouTube, so for example, if you're doing any kind of area videos, community videos, videos about your business, about yourself, you can add videos. All right, so we got videos, maps and local, Google Street View, a few other lead forms that will automatically populate. They can download your 100-point home marketing plan. That's the one that's in your listing to leads account, the one that you can use to win listings. We got a client review video. We've got an embed, what is your home worth? Because again, remember, maybe a third of those people clicking your ads, clicking the emails, clicking the social media posts, about a third of them are going to have a home to sell, all right, or just be straight up neighbors. And so automatically we include the ability for those people to get their home value right from the single property website. There's also a PDF guide, so they can download different PDF guides. And if it's a seller guide, it's going to ask if they own a home and do they need to sell before they buy a new home. And then they can click to download it and you get the lead. So it's a phenomenal lead gen website. Not only is it great for marketing the property, but it's also great for marketing your business. So the single property websites, whether they're property videos, 3D tours, professional photos, area videos, client review videos, all sorts of great things that you can use the single property websites. All right. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. As we go through here, I'll actually show you where you can add that stuff. All right. When you log into Listings to Leads, you're going to be on the dashboard, and I'm going to go to Listings. If you need help adding listings to your account, get with our support team. There's a number of different ways to get listings in, and hopefully we're getting them in automatically. And in this call today, I'm going to go through. What we're going to cover today will be appropriate for any listing that's coming soon, just listed, active, where there's an open house. All right, yours or borrowed. So if it's your listing, if it's a borrowed listing, there's a few slight differences, which I'll point out as we go through this. I'm going to walk through the open house just because there's a few extra things with the open house. But no matter what status it is, so if it's coming soon, the language around that will just refer to the fact that this listing is coming soon. If it's just listed, it will refer to the fact that this property just listed. Active will say for sale. And then obviously open house will talk about there being an open house on Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. So it'll be the same actions, the same call to actions. It's just going to be worded differently for all 4 of those statuses. All right. Before we get to the marketing, let me just show you. If I go to edit, there's a little edit icon right there. And here's where I can add a property video or 3D tour. So you can see there's that property video. I can click on photos and I can upload my professional photos. If you want to give a title and subtitle to them, you can. I can rearrange them just by click and rearrange. I can change the color. You can do this in the profile as well. I can change the color, right? We got dark, we got light, we even got custom. So I got that one. We've got the seller information. You want to make sure you add the seller's information right here. And we got preferences. So for example, that lead form that's going to pop up, you can control that right here. And a few other things that you can see under preferences. And last thing I'll mention here is open house. So you can add an open house. And under listing information, something that a lot of people don't know is your tags. So if you want to set up your tags for your CRM, that would be where you would do it. And the buyer commission. So if, for example, you're going to do a buyer commission, let's see, buyer commission offered. Yes. And I did percentage. If it's no, it will be, just put it under notes, like what the amount is. I'm going to say yes. And I'll just say 2.5%. And then that way it'll appear in the single property website. And that's actually good for buyers, because of buyers, if a buyer has a agreement with the agent and it's for 2.5% or whatever it's going to be, it can be good for the buyer to know that as well, because if sometimes, it's happened where the seller doesn't offer commission and the buyer doesn't want to make an offer and they don't want to run into that again. So it could be a good idea to put that there is a buyer commission of what it is, because that can make the buyer themselves a little bit more open to wanting to see that property. Does that make sense? Hopefully I explained that well. If I didn't, let me know. But I think a lot of you that have run into the situation, especially, will get what I'm talking about right there. It just helps in transparency. All right. And it's good for the agents, because the other agents will see that as well. All right. So from edit, I clicked on the market listing tab up here. So we were in edit. I'm going to go to market listing. Do note, you got the property website right here. So you can always access that property website quickly and easily. That's the same property website we were looking at a little bit earlier. And first up, let's do Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, there are, and doing the ads with Listing Leads is so easy. In fact, just listed, hold on one second. Just listed last week, average $397. Open house was like $470. And regular for sale active last week, I'm going to let that populate. I'll come back to it in a minute. But you're looking at like $4 a lead. All right. Our MLS does not allow for advertising co-ops. Oh, yeah. Well, then don't do that. Yeah. If there's anything that you can't do, then obviously just don't do that. but we brought in the Facebook API into Listings to Leads. We've been doing it for 15 years. So the algorithm within our system to Facebook is phenomenal. The cost per lead is absolutely great. Again, you're looking at anywhere, the average range is going to be from $2 to $8 for a buyer lead. And so it's going to autofill location. So that'll be the location of the listing. Radius of 15, I would leave that alone. It's going to default to a lifetime budget of $35. Now you're going to want to do minimum of $10 a day, if not more.
Hello again. Hello. Just called to say hello. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? I probably shouldn't be singing. Oh, hold on. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Vincent Meza. If you could put it in the chat panel. Scott's power just went out. So I had to jump in, save the day. Yeah, okay, awesome. Hi, Sarah. So on today's story, we're kind of, I'm not sure where Scott was. If you don't mind, I know we're talking about how to market a listing, but can you tell me where we were? Scott told me about 60 seconds ago and said, hey, my power went out. And we got a live webinar going on. So I'll pick up from here. So it's got a call because I'm not getting an answer. Can you hear me, or did we lose everybody here? Okay, budgeting for socials. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about that. My apologies, it's winter, there's storms. Scott's power just got knocked out. My connection isn't much better. It might be because I'm just coming on, but we'll see. I do have power here. So let's talk about budgeting for socials, and we'll go look at the ad section to talk about that. It might be StreamYard is having a problem as well. So I think when we talk about budgeting, we typically are talking about Facebook and we talk about Google. But I'm going to concentrate on Facebook first because that's where a lot of our clients focus on running ads. And so I've got an open house here, and you'll see all the things that we can do to market a home. But let's talk about how you should budget, when you're running one ad, what you should be doing for the month, and how to think just big picture, what should you be doing for Facebook advertising first, okay? So first of all, if you're marketing a home that's for sale, I don't know what Scott said, but when you have a budget, whether it's 35, which is our default setting, or you change it to 50 or 75 to 100, that's the max you can spend. Okay. You always want to leave a lifetime budget because that means that's the max you can spend for the lifetime of this ad. Okay. So, but there is a cost per lead that is decided by Facebook at the very minute that you create the ad right here. Okay. Okay. Sounds like you can hear me. Thanks. Great. And on average, it's about $3 to $3.50, right, per lead. So if it's $3.50, because Facebook decides that's what we're charging right now, you would divide 350 into 35 in this case, and you'd expect 10 leads with name, email, and phone number. Okay. So there's kind of that as a data point, right? If you're running an ad on a home that's sold, those leads can cost you closer to $7 each, right? And then if we're running ads, let's go over here to the ads page. If we're running ads on landing pages, those can be anywhere from 10 to 15, even $20 per lead. So on properties, okay? So if I go to the ads page here and I can do a listing ad, I can do a landing page ad, or I could do a PDF guide ad. And I don't know if we spoke to you about this. And we'll talk about Google after. Let's kind of, I just want to make sure we're not jumping all over. If you're running an ad on a PDF guide, these leads can easily cost $10 each, right? And they're 80. So if you don't have anything in your account and you want to run ads, it's not a bad idea to do it, but you are paying more per lead, and all the leads are coming with name, email, and phone number, right? So if you want your budget to stretch longer, you want to focus on homes that are for sale, maybe open house, or even sold or pending if you want seller leads. Okay. So that's one aspect you got to think of with your budget. But the other thing is what you be spending on a monthly basis. And I think that's really kind of an important question. So when I talk to new agents, and like if you're in it for less than a year, nobody really knows you, you should be running at least one $50 ad every week. Okay. And that could be about a borrowed listing. It could be about a borrowed open house. Or it could be on these other things, but your money's not going to go as far. But when you spend $50, so when I say 200, I'm really thinking 4 $50 ads. Each $50 ad is going to be seen around by about 2,000 people. Okay. And when you look at the ad down here, you can see I've got some numbers like 143 reach, 200 reach, 300 reach. When you're spending $50 on an ad, that number is going to get between 2,000 and 3,000 views. And that's great for your brand because nobody really knows you as a new realtor. And for many of you, you are longtime realtors, but you're competing against 5, 10, 20,000 other realtors. Who really knows that you're a realtor, right? Facebook is awesome. And when you spend, let's just say $200 on, 4 ads over the month, your business page will be seen like 7,500 to maybe 10,000 times every month. And that's awesome for your brand. Of course, people click on those and you'll be capturing leads, and that's great as well, right? But if you're managing something, and I think for more realtors, if you're managing 1 to 2 listings at a time, maybe it's sold, you got one sold, and you got one coming, you probably should be thinking somewhere between $300 to $500 a month. And you would break that up into different kinds of ads, right? And if I know we're talking about listing marketing here. So we're typically, you're focused on marketing a listing. However, if you wanted to run ads on like a borrowed listing or a landing page, something like that, you would get leads from that as well. But when we talk about Google, we don't typically talk about running an ad on a property on Google because people don't search in this way, right? If I go to Google and I say Lafayette homes for sale, right? And I'm expecting to see everything for sale in Lafayette. And so you're not really marketing a listing because that's not really what people are looking for. However, you see this right here, you can do an IDX ad. That means that you would point people on the ad to say, go see all listings in Lafayette. And that you want to push to your own website if you have an IDX search on your website. And that's why when we say create Google ad, it says create IDX ad. But you only want to do that if you've got a website that forces registration. There are some websites that, you can see 3 or 4 or 5 properties and you got to register, right? If you have that, then it does make sense to be running ads on Google to drive people there. But I do want to say this. Running ads on Google, the smarter move is getting listings from there, because that is where people go when they have questions about selling their home, right? So when they're looking for a home, they want to see the whole broad story. What's everything for sale in my town? When they're trying to sell a home, they typically have unique questions. What's the cost, right? What are the taxes? What should I do, right? And so if we go over here to PDF guides, there are a lot of tools, a lot of PDF guides for buyers and for sellers. And you could use those on Google Ads, right? But when it comes to, marketing a home, and I think that's the point of this call, and forgive me because I'm just jumping on here, we wouldn't really suggest using Google to market a listing. There's only really one exception that I think of, and that's if you have a kind of a very unique, usually a multi-million-dollar home in some super special part, right? Maybe it's beachfront property or it's lakefront. It's something very unique that would capture somebody's imagination. Then you might want to use Google for that. Now, I just jumped on. So there's a little bit of a handoff. Is that clear for everybody, like what you should be doing with your listings with Facebook and with budget? Because you were saying it's kind of, what to do there. Just when it comes to socials, just know that we do create a virtual tour automatically for every listing, and we put it on our YouTube channel. Now, we have a YouTube channel on YouTube called Search All Properties, and all of our virtual tours there are there. They're auto-generated and auto-published there. We also do send you a virtual tour, and I really think that everybody should take better advantage of this. And what I mean is, copy the link. This is the virtual tour here, because you may know this. Virtual tours are like the number 3 most popular real estate tool, as surveyed by people who are looking at property, right? So we create a virtual tour in kind of a pan and zoom from the photos that come in from the MLS. So if I were doing this, and I would highly suggest that you copy this link and you take it over to Facebook and you go share this. So you actually auto post your listings there. You put some nice photographs there. And there's a landing page behind it. There's actually something that can capture leads there for free. but we never post that to your personal page. Something, the reason why we don't do that. Okay, but let me share this for you. And this is how I would really highly suggest you do exactly what I'm showing you, because you already know that virtual tours are very popular. And so I would put it in all caps, right? And I would say, you know, great home, you know, for sale. Check it out, right? Something like that, right? You can sugarcoat it the way you want. But having the words virtual tour, and then you paste the link in, it's actually going to pull up kind of a graphic, and then you share that, right? Now, if you want, you can click that button there and tag the homeowner so that they can kind of see that, right? And all their friends and family will see that. Or you can just share it this way. In this way, what I'm doing, I'm sharing it to my personal page, okay? And I do want to say something about that. This is how you technically do it, right? But let's talk about the reason why we don't post things to your personal social media accounts. And that is because it's against the terms of service for Facebook. So when you're connecting your social media accounts to listings, to leads, to your profile, we're connecting to your business page, because that's actually allowed by the terms of service of Facebook. Nobody ever reads the terms of service for any platform, right? But it's actually against the terms of service for you to put your business on your personal page, just like I've done right here. Now, I will say this, realtors do this all the time. And every once in a while, they're really upset when Facebook just shuts down their whole account and locks them out because they went against the term of service. So you can do it. Do you want to do it? It's your choice. I'm not saying, but I would recommend, if you are going to put things on your personal page, use the virtual tours we're automatically generating and putting there. And I'm also going to suggest this. This is a little bit about it. You'll notice that there's a tab here that says videos and 3D tour. So you can actually put in like a Matterport or where it says URL, you can paste in a YouTube video right here. So if you're paying a professional videographer and you want to capture leads with that video, I would highly recommend you either upload the file here or you paste in the YouTube here, link right here. Embed code is really for things like Matterport and 3D tours. So if we were talking about that, let's go back to the listings. And if I get repetitive, just tell me, because I'm not sure. I wasn't on the call with you all. But as you know, let's just go look at what we need to make sure we're taking advantage of. So there's one tool that is often forgotten. We send it to you automatically, and I'll show it to you right here. So I have an open house here. And this tool that I'm about to show you, we email it to you, right? And this says share on seller social media. When we send it to you, though, we have some language and it says send this to seller. And that's kind of confusing. Agents don't know what in the world we're talking about. So let me explain to you what we're talking about. Because when we talk about Facebook ads, or we talk about many of the lead capture things that we're doing with our marketing, that's kind of like going out to a lot of people, right? Like 1,000 people will see it on Facebook. You'll capture leads of people you've never heard of, right? But when we email this tool to you, we really are telling you, forward this information to your client, to the homeowner, okay? And email it to them and ask them to put it on their wall, okay? So this is not a paid ad, but there's a really important reason why you want to do this. And you really want to do this if you really prefer referrals rather than capturing and converting leads from random people on the internet, okay? And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to post this right now. Remember, we're already auto posting to your social media business page. And maybe you'll take the step and share the virtual tour to your private page. And maybe you have run an ad so that 1 or 2 or 3,000 people see it and you capture leads. But this is not a paid ad. It's a little bit confusing because my name is Vincent Meza here, and it says we're having an open house and Vincent Meza at LPL Realty is doing a lot of marketing. So that's like a standard message that we're putting there. But for you, it's going to be from your homeowner, your client, saying that you at your office is doing the marketing and basically telling all their friends and family that you are their realtor. Okay. And if one of their friends and family log in, and by the way, this is not a paid ad, so it never disappears. If they log in and they click on this because maybe one of their old colleagues or their college friends or their family are like, oh, wow, they sold their house or they got an open house. I'm kind of thinking of myself. Let me see what they're doing. Well, this whole page is designed to market the open house, right? And everything is here, multiple ways. This form will pop up. If somebody clicks continue as Facebook, it's going to grab their name and email, and it's going ways. It gets much higher quality leads because those are people who are friends with your current client, right? And so when you're having a discussion, you actually have a little more rapport, right? And so that's something that as we email that to you, automatically you should use it, or you can copy it right from the system like I did here. Let me ask this question. Did Scott talk about this letter here, the nearby homeowner letter? Just give me a yes or no, if you would, in the comments panel. This has been, for many, many years, our top tool for capturing high quality listing leads. Okay. Right now, like for 2025, open houses have been the top way to get high quality listing leads. And that is because of this tool that I'm showing you right here. So this tool, we auto generate, and I think we email it to you whenever you have one that's just listed. Okay. And then when the home is, in this case, has an open house, we refresh it and we send it to you again. And then when the home is sold, we change the language a little bit more, and then we send the letter to you again. Our clients have been mailing this letter out for many years because it is okay. So we didn't talk about this. So this is actually a very important tool for getting more listings. Okay. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually talking about an open house. So what our clients do, and what I was saying a moment ago, is for most of 2025, open house marketing was the #1 way of our clients getting more listings. Okay. And this letter right here is the reason why. It's branded to you. It says, go check out my open house. It's at 1 to 4, but that's going to affect your home value. And go here, take this piece of paper to your own computer and go get your free home value here, right? So everybody has this page in their account, and this page is all designed to capture leads for you, right? So if you print this 50 or you print this 100 times and you go door knock the neighborhood to let them know about your open house, the people who are thinking of selling, they might, 1, go here and get the home value, or 2, go check out this open house, right? And see what's going on. If you mail out 100 of these, getting 1 or 2 high quality listing leads is kind of what you would expect. You don't expect 50. And I've never had anybody tell, oh, it looks like Scott's coming back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, power. There's a lot of storms rolling, through here. So Scott, I've been talking a little bit about Facebook ad budget because I had to ask everybody what we were talking about. And I talked about YouTube and the IDX.
Our power went out in California where I live. So that was odd.
Yeah. So now we're talking, and Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So right now we're talking about the nearby homeowner letter, and I wasn't quite sure where you left off. So, I'm kind of dancing around here, but I do want to point out that our clients typically mail this letter out in batches of 100 when they have a home that's just listed, or later on when the home is just sold, or both. right? They'll mail out both. But also for an open house, that's like if you print out 50 or 100 of these and door knock it, that's how you're going to get more homeowners into your open house from the neighborhood. And so that's kind of a big, important thing not to skip over. So Scott, I talked a little bit about ad budget, broad ad budget, how to think of with capturing leads for the listing. And then I was just talking here about the nearby hunter load. Do you want to pick this up? Because I don't know what you did and I don't want to be repetitive here.
Yep. In fact, give me 1 second. I'm gonna refresh my screen just because just to get that connection real good. So 1 second here.
And there's another thing I'm going to talk about while Scott is doing that, and that is the e-flyer for your database. And if you're an agent with a CRM and you have, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of leads, you really need to take advantage of our e-flyer for your database. And you'll see this language, e-flyer for your database, on all 80 of those PDF guides and on the back of most of our landing pages. And in this case, when you have a home that's for sale, whether it's just listed or open house or sold, the language is right here, right? Got to open house from 1 to 4. Click on that link or that photograph and land on a page to become a buyer lead. But every one of our flyers will say that's got graphic or this link down here and go land on that page to get your instant home value. You should definitely be taking advantage of this by clicking this button up here and copying it with the signature. The signature is down at the bottom here. And we even have copying if you're using Follow Up Boss. That's the code there for Follow Up Boss. They have kind of a unique platform. So definitely take advantage of those things. Scott, are you good to go here?
Yeah, I'm actually good. How do I, because I've never done this before, how do I take over the screen? Let me see. If I present,
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to remove you from the stage.
Let me remove mine.
Yep. I'm going to share
my
screen.
I took off my
there we go. I got it. All right, everybody. Again, sorry about that.
Cool.
San Francisco had their power out the other day, and today it was my turn. It was only about 15 minutes, so not too bad, I guess. So if anybody wants to let me know in the comments there, what did not get covered that we're looking at? Did you cover the ads?
I didn't cover how to run it, but I did talk about the budget. Because that seemed, I asked where we were picking up. So you might want to show how to run that ad.
Perfect. So again, like I said, $10 a day minimum is where you want to be at with the ads. You can do more. A little bit less is going to be too little just because of the algorithm on Facebook. So again, we default to 35. I would go to at least 70. Average cost per lead is around the $4 to $5 range. The range is between $2 to $8 typically. And we got 21 different templates. So I can click change template, change the images, change what you see in the banner. I've got tap for price, details, and down payment assistance options. I do that because affordability is obviously a key in the area, in a lot of areas. And if your property qualifies for down payment assistance, in California, there's no income limit for down payment assistance. So most people can qualify for it in some form or another. Or if there's zero down options available, those might be things you want to put in the image or in the ad itself. So that's all possible. And the one thing I want to mention here is you can ask custom questions before the name, email, and phone number fields auto-populate. And to do that, and this is so powerful because when you ask for more information and they give you information, your follow-up becomes a lot stronger. And so let me just show you what I mean here. If you click advanced options, create new form, there is a section called form questions. And so think about it. The better questions we ask, the better information we get, the better our follow-up can be because now we're providing better value. And so you can see name, email, and phone number are going to be selected by default. And what is your time frame to buy is selected. There's another question. Would you like my free ultimate guide to buying a home? I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. So for example, would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? That could be really good to ask. See if you qualify for zero down or down payment assistance. That could be a great one to ask. You only want to add 3 in addition to name, email, and phone number. Don't add 4 or more, just 3. 2 to 3 is where you want to be at. And I like to do 3. You'll see there's a lot of other questions down here that you can also ask. If you're a lender, some of those other ones might be appropriate. There's some of the good ones for buyers agents. But I like, what is your time frame to buy? Would you like a list of price reduced homes for sale? And or you could ask, there is one for, would you like to be notified first when similar homes hit the market? That's a phenomenal one, because then if they say yes to that, you can set them up in your IDX right away. If you ask about the price reduced homes for sale, that's great for follow-up, because you can follow up with them and find out what areas they're looking for, if there's anything in a home in particular they want, before you send them just a massive list of price reduced homes for sale. So ask good questions here, and then just hit create new form and close advanced options and create ad. So the only 2 things you really need to do is change the budget. So increase it to at least $10 a day, and then click advanced options, create new form, and ask some good questions. And then that's going to really help out your follow-up. All right. Social media posts. These are free posts. So there's no budget to this. We got Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Google. Make sure your Google is connected to Listings to Leads. You can do that in the profile. That's going to really help make sure that your Google page gets more traffic. We've had people tell us that they've gone from being pretty much invisible on Google to being found a lot more, when the only thing they did differently was adding their listings and other things that we post to their Google page. So that's another great thing to make sure you do. And we'll take a look at an example here. And similar to the Facebook ads, they're going to click through to the property website. So you can see here, like we talked about before, they got the video, your 3D tour, all the other great lead capture and content at your property website. So yeah, make sure that we got all of our socials connected so that we can pull a lot more people in there. Vincent, did you cover the stuff for the seller?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I do want to answer a question that Sophia asked. So before you got in here, Scott, I was talking a little bit about the open house marketing. I mentioned the nearby homeowner letter, and I mentioned, obviously running ads, things like that. But I also said that most of the year, open house marketing was our number one way of our clients getting more listings. And that's why we were talking about the nearby homeowner letter. Yeah. And Sophia's question is this a virtual open house or a physical one? And the answer is it's a physical one. And also part of the answer is I'm sending you a link to a recorded call that Scott did before, about a month ago, on open house marketing. And it's really, if you're running ads, you're using the tools that we designed for you to market the home, but also some really great marketing tools to really bring up your value for the homeowners that come through. So that link is now showing in there. It's a YouTube link. I would definitely check that out. Sorry, Scott, carry on.
Yeah, no, 100%. Not every home does an open house, but if you can do open houses using the open house tools within Listings to Lead, you're going to have an amazing business. You combine that with our expired marketing, the listing presentations that we've got, open house marketing, and just sold. And then we got a lot of great stuff for your database as well. Yeah, you're going to find getting listings, finding buyers is a lot easier than ever before. One of the things on the nearby homeowner letter, now when the listing goes pending and sold, there's different things that you can do with the letter, but one edit that you can make to the letter, it sits in an editor. So you'll see here, there's an edit option. Oh, all right, click edit. And so, for example, I just want to let you know that 5530 Douglas Boulevard just listed for sale or is having an open house. You can get more information that is not available anywhere else online. Price, all photos, and more by going to, and you got the domain. They can scan the QR code or they can send a text. So, as Vince was saying, this nearby homeowner letter, whether you mail it yourself, you use a service like Mailbox Power or zairmail.com, Thanks.io, or you door knock. This can be a phenomenal thing to door knock with to the neighbors. One of our clients, he does like 200 at just listed, and then he does 200 at just sold, and he gets a listing all the time. He's getting listings constantly from this letter right here. So super easy to use. It's pre-formatted for you, but at the same time, it's completely editable. There are postcards and door hangers. So if you want an example, you've got standard, jumbo. You can do EDDM. So a couple of different versions of the EDDM postcards available for you. And what's great about these postcards is, if I download it here, they've got, again, the QR code, the URL, the text codes, and on the back of them, so here's the back of it. And in the back, it says, when this home is sold, it will affect your home's value. Got the domain, and there's a text code right there. And the text code is phenomenal. And then on the front, and there's a few different designs, but you'll see there's a QR code, a little blurb about home sales being affected by homes getting sold. And then we got the text code and the domain again right there. So, making sure that we hit the neighbors to the open house is so key, because that's how we get more listings. All right. That's a phenomenal way to get more listings. And then if you got the ability to do circle prospecting, if you're using Red-X, Vulcan 7, MyPlus Leads, where you can pull a list of homeowners in the area, run their numbers against the DNC, and call them up, the circle prospecting around a listing is valuable, because we know when a listing is listed for sale, typically there's going to be other listings in the area within 30 to 60 days coming up as well. And we want to make sure that we find those listings, and to do almost like a customer service call to the homeowners in the area, letting them know that a home near them is for sale, ask if they'd like to get more information about it, and letting them know that when the property sells, their home value will be changed. And so we're going to make some good offers here, to send them information about the listing if they haven't seen it yet, and to offer them a home value update when this property sells. So take a look at the circle prospecting script. It's very similar to the idea of door knocking or using the nearby homeowner letter, postcard, or door hanger, where we want to just let the neighbors know that there's a listing for sale and how it's going to affect their home value after the sale is done. So this is one of the most valuable things that you can do, between whether you use the letter, postcards, and door hangers, right? One of those three, and combine it with the circle prospecting script. You don't need to be nervous. You don't need to be scared. Again, we're doing a customer service call. We're not asking, to list their home right now. We just want to let them know about a property being for sale. And people, you'll find people will appreciate that. Did you go through the e-flyer for the database?
No, I did, but I didn't talk about one thing that I think we should mention. I did say that you can copy that and you can send it through your own CRM, but you can also blast it through ours to your leads. Can you show them that on the top?
Yeah. So you're going to see here, send the e-flyer to my list each time the status changes. So I've got it turned on, but let's just say you don't. So if you do, as soon as I change the status, it will send this either to all the leads generated for this listing, or I can select to send it to any particular list that I want. So you'll see here, I can send it to all, or I can turn it off and say, just send it to my buyer leads. and also send it to my leads for this particular listing only. And then I can send it right now. I can edit the email. And as Vince said, I can also send it through my own CRM. And again, that's going to link right to my property website. So you can see the property web. The reason why we spent a lot of time with the property websites and listings to leads, property video enabled, 3D tour enabled, some great lead capture, the PDF guides, allow you to put community videos, client review videos. This is a repository of both the listing and your business. And we want to make sure that this is as powerful as possible to meet the needs that you've got, so that anytime somebody lands here, we've got a lot of great ways to engage them. We want to show the property off beautifully. We want the sellers to be excited about this, but we also want buyers and sellers and website visitors to be excited about being within your marketing. So yeah, get that e-flyer to your database. And then below that, again, we're letting people know that when this home is sold, it will affect area home values automatically, going right to a property website. So I don't care if you're using Bold Trail, Brivity, Wise Agent, whatever CRM you're using, get that e-flyer in there, use listings to leads to get it out to the leads in our system. And you'll do pretty good. We've got a database call script similar to circle prospecting. We want to call through our database, right? We're not doing a who do you know looking to sell type of call. This is something that you should feel good about doing, because we're going to call people in our database and we're just letting them know about a property for sale. So it's a great way to stay in contact with our database in a way that's very low impact. There's no ask being given here. It's going to allow our database to know that, hey, we are in the business of buying and selling real estate. And so to avoid and not call through our database with the listing that we're marketing this week is really missing a fabulous opportunity for just that brand recognition and staying top of mind with our database. The email is phenomenal, but to call, we don't have to call everybody, but if you can call, 10, 20, 30 people this week to let them know about this, you're going to be way ahead. Imagine a year from now, all right, when you do this on a weekly basis, that consistency is going to bring you more buyers and more sellers. We've got a short form video script. This is something that is absolutely free to do. And just, you can click the green send button. And if you're on your phone, you can just copy and paste that into a teleprompter app if you need one. There's a blue button here. If you click it, it'll take you to a video where I literally walk you through how to use a teleprompter app, but you really shouldn't need a teleprompter app. All we're going to do here is greet everybody. Right? So hello, everybody in Folsom. Want to let you know that 5530 Douglas Boulevard just listed for sale. We're having an open house. It just listed, right? Whatever it's going to be. That they can get all the photos, price, and details by sending a text or texting 1001 to 25678. And you can also say DM or comment below. Give a little bit of information about the property. Just a couple of sentences. Don't overdo it. You could be in the house, in front of the house. And then again, similar to the nearby homeowner letter that works so well, letting them know that, hey, when this property is sold, area home values are going to be affected. And I want to invite you now to get your updated home value estimate. And again, you can either DM or comment below and I'll get that to you right away, or go to, and everybody's got a domain like this in your listings to leads account, go to california.freehomevalues.net to get your home value estimate right now. So great little script. We want as much visibility as possible, because if we're going to be invisible and we're not going to do these kind of things, how are people going to know about us? So make sure you're doing that. You got access to the single property websites. We got a number of different templates. So you can select from the different templates we've got. And if you haven't seen it, we've even got some holiday styles as well. So that red one's actually kind of cool. I like that red one. In fact, let me see if I click property website now. Yeah, not bad, huh? a little snow on my single property website. We got a couple of more days before Christmas. So if you want to activate that, you can, to have a little bit of fun. As Vince was mentioning about open houses, the open house sign-in form is phenomenal. We're not going to go through that today because we do this in another training, but these are fully customizable. I can edit the questions, turn them on or off, delete them. We got a print version. We got an online version, and there's a QR code. And the last thing I'll mention here, in fact, two more things I'm going to mention. One is make sure you've got your yard signs. Your yard signs are one of the top lead generators for quality leads between serious buyers that want to do a drive-by, neighbors that are walking by. So I recommend doing three things on your yard sign. One is get your status rider like this, put it on top of the arm. So if it's your listing, you should get the just listed, active, for sale. So just listed, for sale, open house, pending, and just sold, if you can do just sold. That way, every time the status changes, the people driving by or walking by are going to see that, oh, wow, the status has changed. And then you got your listing flyers, obviously at the open house, for showings, you want the listing flyer, but get a acrylic flyer box for the yard sign at your association from Amazon, and get these on your yard sign. And I'm sharing this with you from clients that have done this, and they get great leads from it. These are some of the best quality leads. And again, there's a QR code on the listing flyer. There's the text codes on the listing flyer. So people can get the listing flyer. And then lastly are the sign writers themselves. Whether you order them from us or you order them from your local area, these sign writers are phenomenal. All right. They're letting people text a property ID to 25678, or they can scan the QR code. When they do either, they will get the mobile responsive virtual tour. If they send a text, then you're going to get the phone number 100% of the time. And in fact, that's why I like the sign writers with no QR code on them. I want the sign writers that only have the text code, because that way I'm going to get their phone number and I can call them back right away. And so between having the status on the top of the arm, the sign writer, like what you're looking at here below the arm, and then an acrylic flyer box, you can generate some of the best leads out there. All right. So that's one of those things that a lot of people don't think about, or they just dismiss it. But I'm telling you, in the surveys that I've done, this constantly rates as one of the best quality leads that people get. So yeah, take a look at that. Make sure you're using all of these tools on that yard sign if it's your listing. And I think that's it. We do the YouTube video automatically. If I scroll down here, YouTube listing video, this is something you want to make sure that you do. Not a big lead generator, but what it does is it pops up on page one of Google most of the time. So even if you do a regular property video, you still want to do this so we can knock out some other website, whether we knock out Compass, we knock out Redfin, we knock out Trulia. We want as much stuff of ours on page one of Google, whether it's for our business, for our listings, what have you. We want to make sure that we got as much up there as possible. And these YouTube videos, usually I've seen them get to page one of Google in 5 minutes. Like literally 5 minutes after that video is done, it is now ranking on page one of Google. Your normal property video that a professional does rarely ever ranks on the top on page one of Google. They just, for whatever reason, they don't. Ours, maybe because we've been doing them for 15 years, will typically rank on and usually the middle to top of the page on Google. So yeah, make sure you get your videos done as well. Okie doke. Anything else that we should cover?
Yeah, I just want to kind of wrap up with a couple things here, since we still have people on the call. Scott, would you show everybody the little notification bell and talk about the expired thing? There's 4 things, guys, that I think all of you need to know. Today, we're talking about how to market a listing, but you definitely need to understand how to market your open houses with us, because these will get you a lot of buyers and a lot of listings. You also need to get familiar with our expired marketing. We talked about it a little bit. I know I mentioned it earlier. That will probably be your number one way of getting listings. And Scott is hosting 2 workshop classes 5 days a week. So definitely get that going, understand how to run Facebook ads, and learn about our listing presentation. If you get those 4 things in your business, you're going to have a bigger 2026 than your 2025.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
All right. Any other last minute questions before we let everybody go to have a phenomenal Christmas or whatever it is that you're going to do towards the end of the week? I think things are going to be pretty slow. I can already see people out walking and driving around a little bit more than a normal Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I don't even know what today is. I feel like today's Friday.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's Tuesday. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks for dealing with the handoff there.
Yeah, sorry about that. But hey, California, I guess. What are you going to do?
Winter storms.
All right, everybody. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.